Okay, hi everybody. I just want to introduce you to a great new client that I just signed. So Alex, I would like you to introduce yourself to the NFL teams, tell them what number you are, what position you play, and what positions you have the potential to play. And tell me all the positions you have played at Carroll College, because I know there are numerous.
Sure. So I'm Alex Hoffman. I'm a number 71 right tackle for Carroll College in Helena, Montana, an NAIA school. I can play center, guard, tackle on either sides of the ball. Coming into college, I was recruited as a quarterback. And then after a year, I got moved to tight end and played some tight end and D-line that year. And then the following year, I got moved to offensive line and been playing right tackle for the last 3 years here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Draper, Utah, which is a suburb of Salt Lake City. I live there from 6th grade all the way through high school.
Okay. And where did you go to high school?
I went to Juan Diego Catholic High School in Draper, and I played basketball, baseball, and football there all 4 years.
Okay. What positions did you play in baseball?
In baseball, I played right field, first base, and pitcher. And then in basketball, I played center, and I started for 3 years there. And then in football, I played quarterback, and in my senior year, our team won state, and I was voted the 3A Player of the Year for Utah.
Okay. Are you a lefty?
I am left-handed, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I figured you were. It's like, ooh, Major League Baseball would like you. Lefty pitcher. Okay. All right. So now tell me just a little bit about your family and your parents.
Sure.
What do they do?
Yep. So my mom is a physical therapist in Utah, and my dad works as a physician also in Utah. I have one brother and one sister. My brother's in college right now at a Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. He's playing football there. He's a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sister is a junior in high school at Juan Diego, the same high school I went to. And she's
what's her name? Is she the one who talked to my sister?
That's right. Her name's Kira. She's yep. Your sister is helping her out.
Oh, my sister is her counselor too. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. All right. So who recruited you out of high school to come to college?
Teams or for Carroll?
I'm talking about other colleges besides Carroll.
Okay. So Wyoming wanted me to walk on as a defensive end. And at the time I was thinking that, no, I'll make it as a quarterback in college. So I was still a little delusional at the time. And then also Southern Utah wanted me to walk on. But ultimately I decided on Carroll College because of the academics and the strong football program that they have there.
Yeah, so let's talk about your academics. I know you're pre-med. Have you graduated?
Yes, I have my diploma. I'm finishing up my golf class for the semester that I had to take to stay eligible for the spring football season.
Okay.
Yep.
And when does your class graduate at Carroll College?
So I know the last day of classes are May 5th.
Okay.
Then, graduation.
But you are already graduated, right?
Yes.
I know you're pre-med, and I know that you have applied to medical schools. Did you get into medical school?
I did. I got into St. Louis University.
Okay. And can you defer your admissions to medical school, or are you willing to? I guess that would be a question they would definitely ask you.
Yes, I am willing to defer, and I believe that I will be able to for a year or so.
Okay. So now I'm going to move to your coach. His name is also Alex. So Alex, why don't you introduce yourself to the NFL teams, tell them your background in coaching so they know, and I'll let you talk.
My name is Alex Pfannenstiel. I am the wide receivers, tight ends, coach, and offensive coordinator at Carroll College here in Helena, Montana. I've been here now for 5 years. Previous to that, I spent 3 years as the offensive line coach at Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri, which is a Division II school, and at the time played in the MIAA. And then I came here, spent a year as tight ends coach, tight ends tackles coach, running backs coach, and then now kind of in my role as offensive coordinator here at Carroll. So this would be my, I guess, 9th year of coaching college football that we're heading into now.
Okay. So why don't you talk to the NFL teams about Alex's potential to play in the NFL?
Yeah. So I guess I'll give a little bit of background in terms of where Alex's came from, because I think that's a great start off point in terms of his potential. So Alex got here as a 6'4", 210-pound quarterback that couldn't hit water if he threw out of a boat. But it was a great athlete. And after his redshirt year, we moved Alex over to tight end, and he went from about 210 to about 235. His redshirt freshman year, and did a great job as a blocking tight end for us. Had really soft hands, and we as a staff kind of had the discussion of, is Alex's value the highest to us as an offensive lineman or as a tight end? And it was a pretty easy discussion because he was a really natural bender, showed some physicality to him. One of the questions that I've answered before is, why does Alex play right tackle as opposed to left? We don't really make a discerning point in our offense between right and left. They're equally valuable to us. And we had a returning starter at left tackle that we didn't have to move. And so we ended up sticking Alex at right tackle, started every game as a sophomore for us, junior and seniors, never missed a game due to injury. Saw a lot of development from a sophomore to junior year, just in terms of getting comfortable with the position, understanding, spatial awareness, developing techniques, understanding the game. And then as a senior, he was voted as a team captain, and obviously did a great job for us this spring. I think Alex's best days of football are still ahead of him. He's a guy that has had to work hard. When we told him to go from 230 to 275, he would eat five plates a meal, 3 meals a day to put on weight, and he would eat in between classes. We told him just gain 1 pound to 2 pounds a week. And he stayed on that scale until he reached his next weight goal, which I think was 275 at the time. And he put in the time and dedication to do it. And the thing that always stood out to us about him is his natural athleticism at the position. He had a lot of strength to add. He's added a lot. I still think there's a lot more there, but with his movement skills, his intelligence, and his overall toughness, I think with another off season or two in the weight room, that as we call it around here, that big boy strength is on its way. It just hasn't had that time to develop. And I think part of his strength development was hurt this last off season because of the restrictions we had here in Helena, like everybody had across college football. And our players we're only allowed to lift 1 day a week throughout our spring season due to COVID contract tracing. And even in the off season, we had to shut down the weight room twice last off season. And that was after they returned from a 3-month break where they couldn't be here. And I think that strength development is his, from my perspective, is his next frontier in terms of what he adds. And I think it's there. I think he just needs a little bit more time to live in that weight room.
So do you feel like he can play left tackle, guard, center, any of those positions?
Yes, I think he is at the next level, is very position versatile. For us, tackle was the most valuable spot we could have put him. But his flexibility and change of direction, I think, lends itself to playing inside, and his level of intelligence. He's not a player that's just a book smart kid who does well in the classroom. It applies over to the field, whether it's identifying schemes or it's identifying tips in terms of, defensive end alignment, stance, etc. I think that lends itself a lot to playing inside, where the mental game becomes even a bigger deal. And the other thing for us, we were given a look in the middle of a game this last year, and he stood up and told the center who identify as the mic, and he told the quarterback who he was hot off of, and we threw a touchdown the next play. And that was something that he wasn't coached to do. He just knew the look was different, but he had recognized it from previous seasons, got everybody on the same page, and we stand up and rip a touchdown. And that kind of comes into his natural leadership skills that he's developed into in terms of being able to be a voice, and just his natural intelligence in terms of being able to play right tackle, but know what the quarterback, the other 4 offensive linemen and running back needs to know at the line of scrimmage when he's not even asked to do it. that I think that the mental versatility along with physical will lend him to play a number of positions.
Okay. So, and what about work ethic and toughness?
From a work ethic perspective, Alex was named our lifter of the year here this last year. It's a one-time award winner. We kind of tend to put it there, but Alex has been a leader in our weight room since he got here. I think his first year he led himself very well, and then has led by example, and now vocally over the last 2 years. Alex was voted to as a team captain. He's the guy that broke down the huddle every day, and it was a guy that brought younger teammates along with him. He's a guy that when we had a couple guys that needed some guidance, that's who Hoffman lifted with. And so in terms of his leadership ability, I mean, he developed into one of the best leaders that I've seen around here. And in terms of character and toughness, I haven't seen Alex Hoffman miss a practice in 5 years. He has not missed a game. Not that he hasn't had some nicks and dings and, and some soreness, but he knows how to play through pain. He's mentally tough. He knows how to get beat, which happens occasionally, and come back and still stay with some mental resolve. And from our perspective at our level, Alex was as tough as they come because he showed up every single day and he put in work. He practiced hard. And that's one of the big things. He set an example for our young offensive linemen that in terms of how you practice and prepare an individual, group, and teamwork. He set the standard for our entire team, not just our offensive line. He was the standard in terms of work ethic and toughness.
So what would you say if you were to tell an NFL team to look at a game? What would you say, like one game? We have a highlight tape that I will be sending out that he created this morning, which I've already had my dad look at. But what do you think was his very best game, or maybe best 3 games?
The two that stood out that would stand out to me are our last 2 of this last season, and that's playing College of Idaho in our conference title game, and then playing Morningside. College Idaho was the number 6 team in the country with an all-conference defensive end that they'd been on an 18-game conference winning streak, and we kind of put our plow behind our offensive line and asked him to do quite a bit of stuff. And it's good level of competition. And then Morningside, we did not fare well as a team, but their 2 defensive ends are both senior starters. Number 90 from Morningside, Nicholas Gustav, is a guy that came with all the accolades, was Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 5th-year senior. I thought that the reason we lost that game was not our offensive line. Alex performed very well against a guy that's a high-level competitor, that was a grown, mature man, and he stood out. He played very hard, played very well, and you get to see him do a lot of things. We ask Alex to pull, we ask him to down block, zone reach, scoop, pass pro, traditionally play action pass pro, and we're fairly diverse in our offense. I think that would give you a good preview against high-level NAI competition. Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of an offense do you run there?
We tend to be, we're an 11 personnel / 12 personnel offense.
Okay.
We're pretty diverse in our run game. Our zone run scheme is based around the Alex Gibbs zone blocking scheme. So we are not a big traditional stack double team offense. That's why Alex was such a great fit for us, because he's a good athlete. Our base play, besides our inside zone, we run old school GT counter, GY counter. We run some frontside G scheme, and then G lead and 2 old school 2-back power is kind of our base run game. Our pass protection is taught based off of the Howard Mudd Dish Pro.
Okay.
And so we ask our offensive line to be aggressive in pass protection. We're not a vertical set team. So we ask our guys to attack and go get people and develop battles early. And that's just kind of the philosophical decision we made as an offense within our program to fit our quarterback and to fit our athletes at offensive line. So we use I've told our players and our coaching staff, we use our offensive tackles as weapons because we pull them, we lead them in screen game. We put them at the point of attack. We play on balance to get them on the other side. And so I would assume it's a fairly diverse offense. It tends to be more pro style in nature than some of your traditional shotgun 4 wide lock inside zone teams that you see on college film.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you say is his biggest strength in playing O-line? Now you've seen him play tight end too. What do you think is his biggest strength?
Twofold. Number one, I think his athleticism stands out. Alex is able to get himself to do things, whether it's reach block, scoop block, down block, pull. I mean, his movement skills are very high level. And I mean, he's a guy that even at 6'6", 295 or whatever he weighs today, he can squat and put his butt to his heels. And being able to apply that, he has natural pad level that works into it. And I think that stands out. And we were able to do so many things with him because of his athleticism. The second part is his level of intelligence and his ability to recall. That the game slowed down for him, and he's able to play even faster than his athleticism shows up, because mentally he's tuned into the game. He knows the alert. He knows the blitz. I mean, he used to yell at me at practice a couple of times going, "Coach, you can't fool me." Because I'd play tricks, and he'd come in after practice and go, "Yeah, you tried to get me with open my cuff again. Do you think that I'm just not going to remember how to block that?" And meaning that in jest. I mean, he's joking, but that ability to recall then helped the game slow down for him and helped elevate us as an entire group.
Yeah. And I know academically, he did really well because he's playing football and he's pre-med. That's not easy to do. How does somebody, I'm going to ask Alex this question. How do you balance all that, Alex? How do you go through the rigors of being a pre-med student and play football? And I know your dad did it too. And my mom said he was on the plane with textbooks studying, by the way, when he was in college. So maybe you did the same. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of homework getting done on road trips for sure.
Okay.
But mostly it's just creating a schedule and sticking to it. You have practice at a certain time, and then you have to make time to lift, and you have to make time that you're going to eat and have meetings. And so you have to make sure that you also have time to study and make sure that you stick to that schedule, I would say is the biggest thing that helped me out, is to set aside time where I was just focusing on homework and lab reports and stuff like that. And then also have my time set aside where I was focusing on football.
Got it.
To add some context for the coaches, Alex is a 3.991 GPA pre-med major here at Carroll, and we are the #1 regional college in the West. So our background, we are a medically based school that is very challenging. And the fact that Alex was able to balance, he got an A- his first semester in his biological principles lab, and that is the only non-A that he got his entire career. And the ability to balance that stuff. This is not an easy school to go to. We have some people that come here wanting to be doctors and fail miserably. And the fact that he was able to excel at both is pretty impressive.
It is impressive. I mean, he's impressed me. I've only known him for the last 24 hours, but of course my family knows him. But so is there anything else? What number were you, Alex? You were number 71.
Yes.
Was there any other numbers that you had while you were playing at Carroll College?
My redshirt freshman year, I wore number 90. And then that was when I was playing tight end and some D-line.
Okay.
As well as some special teams.
Coach, do you know if I know he played some special teams, but in the NFL, they're going to use him on special teams as a big guy. Where do you think he could play on special teams in the NFL, and where did you utilize him, or did you utilize him on special teams at Carroll College?
We utilized him on PAT field goal.
Okay.
He's a guy we moved inside just because he's so powerful to move inside and have him play guard and tackle and work there. He was a PP on punt for us in an old school shield punt, I believe. Weren't you, Hoff, as a freshman, sophomore?
Okay.
Yeah. Freshman.
Yeah. The other part that you could explore, in the NFL, I know with pro style punt, that's a little bit different than the college level. But as a PAT field goal guy, and then, you could experiment having a big, long guy with a good get off, being a PAT block guy, field goal block guy in the NFL. I think that's something he would definitely be willing to do. And you might actually find some use for a big explosive guy to be your push guy when it comes to field goal block.
What about kickoff and kickoff return?
Might have. No, I think Alex is athletic enough. I know the kickoff return is much different in the NFL than it is in college football, that they still use big guys on that team.
Yeah, they do.
I think Alex is athletic enough to field the ball. He actually had really soft hands at tight end. I think he's good in space. You could definitely put him on a KOR team. I'm not sure on kickoff in terms of body style. He's got some wheels on his highlight tape. They have him down there running down a safety. but I'm not sure in terms of the coverage speed for a kickoff team at the next level. But as a kickoff return guy, I think that you're not going to lose your mind if somebody decides to mortar kick to him, because he can catch it. And then I think the willingness and athleticism to go block people in space is there.
Okay. All right. So are there any other things, Alex? Because your coach has talked a lot that you want to share with NFL teams that they want to know about you, your family, your background, why you went to Carroll College, your injury history. Have you ever missed a game or a practice because of an injury?
No, I have never missed a game or practice because of an injury. I did miss one practice my redshirt sophomore year because I had the norovirus, and I was puking and throwing up that entire day.
Okay.
But I was back to practice the next day after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been vaccinated?
I have been. I work at a hospital in town in Helena, so I was able to get vaccinated with both shots back
Okay,
in
so you're
February.
okay. Let's talk about your work at the hospital. What are you doing for the hospital right now?
So I actually, it's a children's psychiatric hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I work with the kids there, run therapy groups, play games with them, serve meals, talk to them about stuff they're going through. So it's been really cool to work there for the past
Okay.
few years.
And how many hours are you working there right now?
I toned down the number of shifts I was picking up during this last season, just because I really wanted to focus on football for my last college season. But before that, and now that I'm starting to pick up a couple shifts for a few more weeks, usually around 20 to 30 hours I'll be working.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. Okay, so how long have you been working there?
Since May 2019.
Okay.
So 2 years coming up.
So you worked too on top of being pre-med and playing football?
Yeah, not as much during the school year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe 8 to 12 hours a pay period, so every 2 weeks.
Impressive.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Is there anything else you want to share with an NFL team? Because I want to get this out today, and I have the highlight tapes done, so that's good.
I think we've kind of covered all our bases.
Okay, Coach, is there anything you want to add?
No, we have been fortunate to have a number of guys here that have had some opportunities. We had Josh James that played in the NFL for 3 seasons out of camps, and Chris Empter. And we've had Carroll is a place with a lot of proud tradition. And having played here on 2 national championship teams, been around for a lot of time, and then obviously coached here for quite a while. Now, Alex is one of the, not to speak in too much hyperbole, the example that he set off the field and on it in terms of how we work beyond the talent is pretty high. And, it's kind of one of those deals where all of us as coaches, whatever we have to do to get him the opportunity, because he's that type of kid.
Right.
I think is the best way to put it for us, is that not everybody that comes to the program is obviously this talented, but this is a great character. Talent sets the floor, character sets the ceiling. He has both. And especially the character is just as high as the talent for us, and we're awful excited for his opportunities. But I don't know if we can speak highly enough of what we think of Alex as a player and as a leader as coaches here at Carroll College.
Yeah. So can you give me or share right now on your phone number or email so teams who would like to contact you can call you, Alex, Coach Alex?
You don't want to pronounce my last name, Jill?
Well, I don't, because Alex already told me it was difficult. His is easy. Alex Hoffman. Mine's easy. Jill McBride Baxter. Yeah. It's easy. You can say your last name for us, Alex, if you want.
My last name is Pfannenstiel. So it is. Wow. If you would like to email me, my email is P as in Paul, F as in Frank, ANNENSTIEL at Carroll, which is CARROLL.edu. And if you'd like to contact me via phone, my phone number is 503-351-9213.
Okay, great. Okay. I really appreciate your time today. I know everybody was busy, and I can't wait to share this information with all of the NFL teams.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else before we get off? Nope. Okay. I'm going to end it then. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I was a big fan of the Pat Hill Fresno Bulldogs, just so you know.
Oh, me too. My husband coached